So, Greg, what have you been playing this week?
I've actually been very surprised this week in many ways because I've been playing a rally game which is quickly becoming one of my favourites ever in the genre.
Wow.
But I've also been playing WRC 8.
What, that N64 looking game?
Oh dear.
Yes. For those that are set, it's the one I was talking about. It's Colin McRae Rally 2.0 on the PS1 is what I've also been playing. Yeah, let's get it out of the way. The graphics they're terrible. I knew that going in, to be fair. Like, that wasn't the reason I was buying WRC. I've been wanting to sort of recapture those rally games that I loved from like the PS1 N64 era. So I bought WRC on Switch because I wanted a different racing game on the Switch, because I've really just only got Mario Kart and Horizon Chase Turbo, which is like different types of racing games. So I was looking for something a wee bit more realistic without going too in depth, I suppose. But yeah, like I say, the graphics are terrible. Like the trees and stuff look like something from like. They would probably have looked like good on the GameCube, but these days it's terrible, and everything's a wee bit blurry, and everything sort of loads in, and like the weather effects and stuff are just absolutely terrible. Like the rain's just like white lines slashing down the screen. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the PS4 and Xbox versions of it look like, but I'm sure it's an awful lot better than what we're getting on the Switch. But I suppose, like, graphics aside, the gameplay is really the thing that would probably be most important. And to be fair, it's decent. I would say, like, I always knew going in it was going to be a case of, right, I haven't played a realistic sort of racing game for a while. Most racing games, I know, it takes a wee bit of time to get adjusted to the controls and stuff, and getting used to how like the car feels and like sliding along the tracks and stuff. So it was difficult for the first few days because I never really felt like I got a proper opportunity to really get stuck in and learn how it plays. But I did kind of start getting the hang of it over the course of the last week or so, but never to the point where I was like confident of driving around. Like for me anyway, like the car feels kind of difficult to turn, and there's a technique that sort of teaches you. Well, I've seen it on like the loading screen. It says down at the bottom about a pendulum turn. Like, you guys are racing fans, so you probably know what that means. It's like sort of like breaking into the turn the opposite direction and then swinging your car around to get round like a tight turn.
Yeah.
It felt like it was being forced to do that an awful lot around the tracks, and I was losing control an awful lot. And obviously I would get better at that the more I play it, but I mean, the game is quite difficult. I started a career in like medium difficult. I thought, alright, I'll probably be okay, and like every sector I was doing, I thought I'm doing okay in this sector, and then I'd find out like I'm about 5 seconds behind the next person. It was just like constantly punching me in the face. But then I'd done a race on easy, and like every sector I was winning. So it's like, yeah. So I'm sure medium was probably sort of difficult. If I practiced enough, I'm sure I'd be able to get there eventually, and that would be like the satisfaction of just being able to get those milliseconds ahead of the next driver. But as much as I was playing it, I wasn't really enjoying it, and that's what kind of led me to putting on the PS1 and playing Colin McRae Rally 2. It's a game I've never actually like finished on the PS1, so I thought, right, I'm trying to recapture what the feeling of those games was like back in that era. So I thought, right, I'll go and play the PS1 game, and within like 10 seconds I was immediately having more fun than I was in WRC. And that's what I mean, WRC is honestly, it's fine, it's a good game. If you need a rally game on the Switch, you're pretty much stuck between it and V-Rally 4.
And which one do you recommend? V-Rally 4 or WRC 8?
From what little I've played of both, I'd probably say WRC 8 would be the option. It's got over 100 tracks in it, although most of those seem to be like duplicates. They're like, you go around the track one way and then it's the reverse of the track, so that's pretty much half of them there. There's a decent wee selection of game modes, but it's all single player. There's no multiplayer to speak of whatsoever. There's leaderboards and there's like challenges you can do where obviously you compare times with other people across the world or whatever, but it's not the same as like racing against somebody beside you or just racing head to head against somebody. So there's career, which is the most in-depth mode. It's like, I kind of like just the racing aspect of like having a succession of courses. The career mode is you sort of have like a calendar and you'll have your rallies coming up, but before then you can like pick other events to like in between to like earn money or to rest your crew, because you have a crew in this here, and so you over the course of it you pick up like meteorologists or like different sort of people, engineers and stuff that you need to pay and the better ones that you get, the better they're going to be for your team. So like they'll predict the weather better or make improvements to your car quicker and stuff. About the cars, actually, I will say they're pretty much all Ford Fiestas from what I can tell. just different colour schemes. That kind of irritated me because when I went back to Colin McRae, you've always got the Subaru, the Mitsubishi Lancer, all those ones, so all the classics, you know. So you've got your crew, so they have to be rested every so often, and you'll do those different challenges. And to be honest, I was struggling with the challenges as well. There'd be ones where it's like extreme weather and you have to like beat the course in like a very short period of time. It's like I couldn't manage that, so I was actually finding myself financially like in deficit. But funnily enough, the same sort of thing happened in V-Rally as well. So like all that money aspect, if you're not interested in worrying about the crew and all that sort of thing, you can actually do what's just called the season, which actually takes all that away. So it is just the rallies. So I quickly jumped over to that mode instead, and it definitely did feel a bit better. But like I say, the difficulty was, I couldn't quite get the right difficulty setting for myself, and in the end I just haven't played it, and it's actually up on eBay. I've just been carrying on with Colin McRae, and it's just getting my fix that way. And
which one looks better, Colin McRae Rally 2 or WRC?
Honestly, obviously WRC is like technically much better, but from a visual aspect, like the Colin McRae rallies, like it's got a better aesthetic. Like WRC is more like, obviously it's sort of more realistic, but it's more drab. There's no vibrancy in it. Whereas you go to Colin McRae, it's like everything just, it looks more fun and like it's more pleasing on the eye to me. I know you can, obviously PS1 graphics, you can look back and they're terrible, but it is more visually pleasing to me than WRC 8.
Shocking.
So, yeah, that's WRC 8. Enjoy.
Not recommended.
I'm not recommended. I'm glad I picked up Grid Autosport. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.